live, going live, and you are looking live at Sold Out Giant Stadium on Monday night, where tonight the 15-0 New York Giants will be taking on the 0-15 Dallas Cowboys. Why the Dallas Cowboys 0-15? Because they suck. And welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody at all, anybody going to spend a little bit of time with me here tonight? I greatly appreciate it. Or anybody spends any time watching a replay of this, once again, guys, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You guys absolutely rock. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here, shoot my mouth off about 30 minutes. Anybody's got anything at all to say, please feel free to put it in the chat box. I check on it from time to time. So you got any comments or anything at all, just feel free to chat away, all right? But I'll tell you what, before I got into the Giants and Cowboys, there was some good football games going on. Right now, it's about halftime of the 49ers and the Broncos. But I'll tell you, there was some good football games. Holy cow. Woo! Man. The only one I wish was a little bit better. I kind of wish the Commanders would have beaten the Eagles because I can't stand the Eagles because I'm a Giant fan and I'm in Eagle country down here in South Jersey. Can't stand the Eagles. I hate them more than I hate anybody. But there was a lot. Oh, I got the Sunday direct ticket from DirecTV. Oh, man, it was worth every penny of it. There's phenomenal games going. There were a couple bad games, but other than that, I'll tell you what, there was a ton of them that came down to the wire. Fantastic games, boy. Man, it was a great day to watch football. Hopefully, hopefully the Monday night game will be, for us Giant fans, will be good. I've been saying it's kind of like all week, a lot of it's going to depend, protecting the ball. That's going to be huge. The Giants, going to have a hard time, with the Cowboys pass rush. Cowboys got a good pass rush. So you're going to have a hard time with that. Daniel Jones got to protect the ball. Can't give the Cowboys any cheap points. If the Cowboys score points, you got to make them earn them. Got to make them move, march down the field to get a field goal or a touchdown. If they move down the field and score a touchdown, tip your cap to them. But, the Giants can't, Daniel Jones can't throw any interceptions. I know I'm being a little too picky. But, you can't give the Cowboys a boatload of points. You can't give the Cowboys the game. You got to make the Cowboys win. If the Cowboys beat you, you got to tip your cap to them. But a lot of it's probably going to come down to turnovers. A couple turnovers here, a couple turnovers there. If the Giants were to maybe capitalize on a couple Cowboy turnovers and maybe turn them into look what happened last week, right? Which was not obviously what the Giants wanted, but they had those two early fumble recoveries in the first quarter. Unfortunately, the Giants could only turn them into 6 points. But those 6 points, Giants won by 3. Without those 6 points, maybe the Giants wind up losing, right? So, that's quite possibly what's going to happen here. I don't see any team really running away with it. I said, unless the Giants have like 5 turnovers and the Cowboys turn them into like the 20 points or something like that, But I don't really see either team really running away with this game. I hope the Giants have a great offensive effort, but the Giants, like Darius Slayton hasn't really been part of the offense. Lord knows if Kenny Golladay is going to be on the field at all, right? Wan'Dale Robinson is out. Kadarius Toney is doubtful, I believe it is. He's a possibility he might play, but he's doubtful with Leonard Williams. So, you got like a lot of question marks at the wide receivers. We don't have Evan Ingram anymore. Evan Ingram, who actually caught a 2-point conversion, I believe it was, with the Jaguars. Actually, quite a few ex-Giants. Keen Crossan had a good, I think Pugh got hurt, I believe it was. But some of the Giants today, ex-Giants, had some nice games, and Evan Ingram was one of them. But we don't have, any tight ends that scare you anymore. Daniel Bellinger, we got guys who can catch the ball, but as far as catching it and just scaring you and taking off with it, like Evan Ingram could, we don't have that. We got Saquon. But the thing is with, running the ball, I mean, Saquon, he's done it a couple times against the Cowboys without question, right? Give him a little bit of a crease. What's he do? He can take it. Was it the last game? He needed to get 1,000 yards rushing, and he broke off like a 50-yard run, I believe it was, and that put him at like the 1,000-yard mark last year. I think it was last year. I mean, so he's broke him off quite a few times against the Cowboys in the past. So there's a possibility. Saquon can break one off, which would be fantastic. Love to see it. Cowboys and Giants. Let me see here. Is this ESPN? Okay, ESPN. Let's see here. What do we got here? I'm trying to think. I think it was last year. Box score. Let's try box score here. What did Saquon wind up with? Saquon, 15 for 50. Maybe I was thinking of another game. There was one of them. I know he had to break one off late, and just to get his yardage. Maybe it wasn't last year. Maybe it was 2 years ago. I'm not exactly sure. But I mean, he's done well against the Cowboys in the past if you give him a hole. Obviously, the game last year against the Cowboys when we were playing in Dallas, that's when he got hurt. That freak accident, obviously, when we stepped on a player's foot, twisted his ankle, and he was out for a while. But Saquon can, he can do some damage. But I mean, the thing is, if you're going to try to wind up running the ball a lot, what are you doing? You're keeping the clock moving. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But if you keep the clock running, the chances of there being a boatload of scoring kind of goes down quite a bit, So, let's see here. So I got a couple things I want to go over here as far as, but this is one here from NFL.com. I got 4 things to watch out for the Giants and the Cowboys. One thing is, thank goodness we got it says here the Giants reinforcements. Okay, meaning Azeez and Kayvon. First-year defensive coordinator Don Wink Martindale has done an impressive job so far by scheming up a stingy defense that's allowed 18 points a game, right? 36 points in 2 weeks, right? And he's done it without the Giants' featured edge rushers, Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau. They're set for their 2022 debut on Monday night. The Giants defense gets their first look at their true potential. The G-men have just 3 sacks, which is tied for 23rd. Jeez. Through 2 games, which is atypical of a Martindale unit. And the pass rushing duo figures add an element that's been missing not only this season, but of the seasons in the past. Ojulari led the team in sacks, 8, as a rookie last year, and the Giants selected Thibodeau with the number 5 overall pick, obviously. Wrecking havoc off the edge should aid a green giant secondary that has been eased into the 2022 season after facing the Titans and Panthers passing attacks, okay, that rank in the bottom 7 in yards per game through 2 weeks. Ojulari and Thibodeau will be going up against the young Cowboys offensive tackles in Tyler Smith and Terrence Steele. And these matchups alone might be the difference. And I got another one here, Cooper Rush, right? The Dallas Cowboys backup quarterback earned some respect last week after momentarily saving the Cowboys' seasons from a certain turmoil with a win over the Bengals. Rush accomplished that feat by simply avoiding any major mistakes, which is going to be something huge for Daniel Jones. But I mean, he's got to either have the timer in his head, the awareness in the pocket. I mean, for him that, if he's going to get the ball and turn his back to maybe Andrew Thomas's side or something like that, and just like focus in on, you can forget about it. I mean, you can see strip sack city right there. Sack, fumble, Cowboy recover the ball, Cowboys ball the other way, right? You can see that. He's got to be aware of his pocket presence because the Cowboys can bring the pressure. They sacked the Bengals 6 times last week. I mean, it was just pressure all over the place. I mean, so I think it'll be a high emphasis this week on at least trying to for Daniel Jones to try to get the ball out of his hands fast, quick routes. If we're going to try to do anything deep, you're going to have to pick your spots, right? Let's see here. But Michael Gallup making his long way to return, possibly, okay? You got Michael Gallup, you got ABCD Lamb, Noah Brown, you got Tony Pollard coming off some good performances. That trio all had an important hand in Rush's big win, even preventing that one dreaded mistake from happening on a couple of occasions, while accounting for 221 of the quarterback's 235 passing yards combined. Continuing that production could boost Rush into a rarefied air as he aims to keep the Cowboys afloat. With a win and 190 passing yards on Monday night, Rush would join Hall of Famer Kurt Warner as the only undrafted quarterback since 1950 to go 3-0 in their first 3 starts while throwing for 700-plus yards in the process, per NFL research. I don't know where they come up with this stuff. It's just unbelievable. So many stats. With Dak Prescott on the sideline, a 28-year-old Rush certainly hasn't advertised the poise of a quarterback that's afraid to get in there, right? So, yeah, I mean, he's a backup quarterback, but, right, he could be Mike Glennon, all right? Let's put it that way, right? And he's not, all right? So, but I'm saying for the Giants to get some pressure on him, maybe get some forced errors would be huge. A couple picks would be really, really huge, right? Now, also, another thing here, Saquon get some help. There's a clear correlation between the Giants' undefeated start and the Giants' star running back. Barkley enters week 3 as the NFL's leading rusher with 236 yards and stands second in total scrimmage yards with 282. Going up against the Cowboys' defense that has allowed 120 rushing yards per game and 4.2 yards per carry so far. The X factor to the Giants in this matchup is just as apparent. According to the Next Gen stats, Barkley has 86 rushing yards over expectation, 137 rushing yards after contact, and has 20 touches in back-to-back games within the same season for the first time since weeks 16 and 17 in 2019. What's behind Barkley's resurgence can range from the 25-year-old finally being healthy after 2 lost years to Daboll's commitment to getting the ball in his hands. Yep. Maintaining this type of production will get tougher as opponents zero in on him, as the Panthers did last week. They did a nice job of slowing him down, right? Without question. And we got Micah Parsons, right? He looks to right a wrong versus the Giants. With 17 sacks in his first 18 games, Parsons needs 3 in his next 2 to become the fastest player to reach the 20 sack mark since the stat became official in 1982. The Cowboys pass rusher has notched 2 sacks in each game this season so far, and another such outing in week 3 would put Parsons the 3rd player in NFL history to accomplish that amazing feat, joining Kevin Green and Mark Gastineau, who set the single-season sack record that season in 1984. Right? The numbers support Parsons' eye-opening emergence as one of the league's best young talents. Oh, yeah. Without question. And the Giants could have had him, but they traded, right? Made the trade to get, to get Kadarius Toney, right? And we also got Evan Neal out of that. So you gotta kind of look at it, right? Kind of look at it that way. All right. Now we got another article from Giants.com, right? The Giants look to go 3-0. With Sunday's win, the Giants were able to jump out to a 2-0 start for the first time since 2016, right? This week, the Giants hope to win a 3rd straight game to start the season, a feat that franchise has not been able to accomplish since 2009. 3-0. We haven't been able to go 3-0 since 2009. How freaking pathetic is that, huh? That's when the team started 5-0. Despite this week's game occurring in primetime, Daboll is making sure his team stays focused on the task at hand. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, oh, yeah. But heading into week 3, okay, now this is an important stat, all right? The Giants are one of just 6 teams able to start the season with 2 wins. Well, some of them bit the dust, okay? There's a precious few now that are undefeated. Joining them are the Eagles and the Dolphins, right? So far, as unbelievable as this is, right? After week 3, there's only 2 teams left that is undefeated. And the Giants are one of them, but they haven't played 3 games yet, okay? But since 1990, this is very important, 63% of the teams starting 2-0 have gone to the postseason. Pretty impressive. while that number jumps to 74.4% for teams that start the year 3-0. Monday's night game also represents the team's first time playing a prime time this season. The Giants have lost 10 consecutive games under the light, dating back to Week 10 of the 2018 season when they beat they were able to go out to San Francisco and beat San Francisco. But they've lost 10 consecutive games under. Is that how freaking pathetic is that? Absolutely pathetic. They can't win a Sunday night game. They can't win a Monday night game. Can't win a Thursday night game. Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna take a step back here. They beat the Washington football team last year. That was Thursday night. They beat them. Dexter Lawrence, unless he lined up offside, he did not jump offside. He moved when the ball moved. So the Giants did not lose. That was a bad call by the referee, or whoever called that penalty. That was a BS call. He was not offside. The referee made a mistake. The Giants won that game. But in the long term, it made the Giants 4-13 game a better draft pick. So it turned out best for the Giants that the referee blew the call. But, I mean, how is that? We lost 10 games in a row under the light. Is that unbelievably freaking pathetic? Now we got the all-time series. The Giants and the Cowboys have played 120 times since 1960. Dallas leads the all-time series 71-47. I mean, Cowboys, and they've won, is it 9 of the last 10? You know, I mean, Cowboys won both games last season, and Giants' last victory in the series came Week 17 of the 2020 campaign. This matchup will serve as Brian Daboll's first against the Cowboys as head coach. Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy has faced the Giants 13 times between his stints with the Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. And this the first time the Giants played the Giants played the Cowboys on Monday night was in 1971. They went to the Cotton Bowl. They played the Cowboys and they lost 20-13. It was a really sloppy game. The Cowboys lost like 5 fumbles. I think they fumbled 7 or 8 times. I think they lost like 5 fumbles. The Giants couldn't stop them on defense. I mean, the Cowboys, I don't even know if the Cowboys had a punt that game. I mean, the Giants couldn't stop them. The only thing, the Cowboys stopped themselves. The Giants couldn't stop the run. Nothing. It was absolutely horrible. It was 6-6 at one point. The Cowboys scored a couple touchdowns. The Giants scored in the final minute of the game. Fran Tarkenton had Clifton McNeil. I'm sorry, Freeman McNeil. He was the Jet. Clifton McNeil with like a 15 or 20-yard pass in the final minute to make it 20-13. The Giants tried an onside kick, and it was unsuccessful. So the first time the Giants and the Cowboys ever played on Monday night was in 1971. The Cowboys wound up winning that one 20-13. So, but I mean, pretty much, ever since they started playing in 1960, the Cowboys have had the Giants number. Cowboys were an expansion team in 1960. Cowboys were 0-11-1 in 1960. The Cowboys came to New York. The Cowboys didn't win a game all year. The Giants have gone to the last 2 championship games, 58 and 59. Actually, they went to the last 3 out of 4, 56, 58, and 59. So 1960, the Cowboys, who did not win a game all season, come to New York. And what do? They tie the Giants. Absolutely freaking pathetic. But since then, the Cowboys have just had the Giants number. The next year, the Cowboys came to New York. Once again, the Cowboys came to New York. Giants went to the championship game in 61. Cowboys came to New York. Cowboys' second season in existence, expansion team. They won 4 games in 61. One of those 4 games was against the Giants. Absolutely unfreaking pathetic. But anyway, then we got some more stuff here. We're going to go to the injury report. Okay, guys are out. Justin Lane with his concussion. Nick McLeod with his hamstring. Aaron Robinson, appendectomy. Hopefully he'll come back next week because the Bears are coming in, right? Bears are flying high. They got a victory today over the Texans. That wasn't a phenomenal game. It was a good, close, tight game. Very, very entertaining. 23-20. Very entertaining game. And Wan'Dale Robinson is out. Right? And doubtful is Kadarius Toney. I'm sure he won't be one playing. He's got a hamstring problem. And Leonard Williams with his knee. Questionable, we got Azeez Ojulari and Kayvon Thibodeau. Now, the Cowboys, all right, out. Jaron Kearse, safety. Connor McGovern with an ankle, and Dak Prescott, obviously. Questionable. Quinton Bohanna, defensive tackle, is neck. Michael Gallup with the knee. I'm sure he'll probably want to play him, but I mean, he may not be as, as I don't want to say dominant, but as good as he has been in the past because he's got a knee problem. He's questionable, so I'm sure he won't be, as fluid and all as he could be. You also got Micah Parsons here listed as questionable. He has an illness. I kind of doubt that. I'm sure he'll be playing. And we got Dalton Schultz. He's got a problem with his knee. So two guys that might play for him, Dalton Schultz, their tight end, and Michael Gallup, one of their good wide receivers. They're questionable with knees. All right. So even if they do play, they got problems with their knee, a knee. Okay. So they won't be as perform as good as they usually can. Okay. So that's going to help the Giants out. All right. And of course, we got the defensive line update. We got Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari coming back, which is going to wind up helping. But, obviously Leo the Lion, he's doubtful. I mean, hopefully he'll be in there against the Bears. That would be a huge lift if we get him. Then it's supposed to be hopefully a whiteout at the stadium. Now, I'm sure a lot of Cowboys fans wearing their Cowboy jerseys might wear the white jerseys, so that might help aid in the whiteout as well, because Cowboy fans travel very well. There's going to be a lot of Cowboy fans in the stadium without question. But Daboll's and the players, they all asking for a whiteout. So it'll be going to be pretty interesting to see. The Giants are going to have their rush jerseys, whatever you call them. They'll be all in white. The color rush jerseys will be all in white. We got the I guess you can the throwback helmet, with the Giants on the side and all and everything. So a lot of people really like those jerseys. All right. Monday's game is going to mark the team's first NFC East matchup of the season. It will be important for the Giants to pick up a victory this week. It was also serve as the only opportunity they have to show what they can do in the division for a while, which is true. They're going to be out of the division for a while. So following this week game against the Cowboys, Daboll's squad will not face another divisional opponent until week 12. All right. So we're week 3. We got to wait like 9 more weeks until we're going to face, right? Which is odd because the next time they face somebody is the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Okay. And Dak will be back by then. So it's every game is big. There's no, but I mean, it just goes to show you we're going to go a long way before we play another opponent in the NFC East. Now, I don't know if you want to call it trying to keep up with the Eagles because, I mean, the Eagles look very, very dominant. So, I mean, looks like the Eagles, unless injuries start wreaking havoc on their season, it looks like the Eagles are going to, have a real good shot at wind up winning the division. So, but I mean, Giants with their easy schedule, who knows? Who knows, right? That we got here. All right, starting fast. In each of the first 2 games of the season, the Giants needed late comebacks in order to pick up victories. Yep. I mean, they started fast against Carolina. They went up 6-0, but it would have been nice if it was 10-0 or even 14-0, right? And they kept the pressure on, but I mean, they were up 6-0, 2 lackluster kind of drives. I mean, and then, so we got the 6 points. And then after that, I mean, it was just kind of like, snooze city for a while. I mean, we weren't, right? I mean, Panthers actually went up on us, right? We had to tie them and then go ahead. I mean, it was just, Daboll said that's an important part of the game for us to try to get off to a fast start. That doesn't always happen. The last 2 games are the only 2 games to go by in terms of a regular season. So we'll continue to work at putting together some good openers. It takes everybody, the coaching, the play, and everybody. So, I mean, a big part of the starting fast will be getting Barkley going early. Through the first 2 games, Barkley has rushed for 45 yards and 11 carries in the first half, including only 3 yards on the ground against Carolina. But his numbers jump up to an impressive 191 yards on 28 attempts in the second half. Coincidence or not, 34 of the team's 40 total points have also come in the second half. Well, I mean, actually, it would be all of their points would have came in the second half if they didn't get those 2 turnovers against Carolina early on, right? I mean, we had six points, and it was off those 2 turnovers. Right? So then you got the Cowboys who ranked 19th in the NFL in rushing yards allowed with 120.5 yards. Right. So, I mean, it's only 2 games. I mean, some of these numbers are very, very skewed, but they did give up some rushing yards. That's without question. Right. So obviously getting Saquon going would be huge. Very, very get the ball in his hands. I'd like to see him just to get the ball out into space if it could. Slow down the Cowboys, their pass rush, get them a little tired or so or whatever, and then maybe try to, hit them a little bit more with the run, right? But, I mean, if once again, if you do start, obviously, with the run, you got to keep up with it. It's, it ain't going to be pretty, not going to be sexy. It's going to be maybe quite boring, might be quite annoying and all that to try to get the run going. But, those 1 and 2 yard runs in the first quarter are going to turn into 4 or 5 yard runs later on, 5, 6, 7, get a hole, right? Cowboys defense is a little gassed, right? Get a little hole in there, give the Saquon, let him take off for 40 or 50 yards, right? As Saquon can do. So, I mean, trying to get Saquon going, it's going to take time, all right? And it ain't going to be always pretty. But then, it's a huge problem. All right, he's trying to slow down Parsons and Lawrence. Now, Lawrence is maybe not quite as what because he's had some injury problems, right? But he still can wreak havoc. All right. The Cowboys defense starts with All-Pro linebacker Micah Parsons, last year's Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's off to another stellar start. The talented second-year linebacker has added 7 quarterback hits to his season stats, while his 92.2 overall grade from PFF is the second highest of any NFL player this season. He's a problem, Dable told the media. He's a dynamic football player. Oh, yeah. No, without question. And defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence is another player who cannot be overlooked. Absolutely not. The veteran missed 10 games last season due to injury, but he came back to register 3 sacks over the final 6 games. In 13 career games against the Giants, Lawrence has 7 sacks and 4 forced fumbles. The third-year cornerback Trevon Diggs is also coming off a great season last year, too, with 11 picks. It was named an All-Pro. Okay. Andrew Thomas will play a crucial role in slowing down a talented pass rushing duo. Okay. Thomas took a step forward in development from year 1 and 2. I mean, he's getting better, right? Evan Neal, okay, right, rookie right tackle Evan Neal also saw an improvement from week 1 to week 2. Yes, he did. Okay. Neal received a very solid 73.9 pass block rate in the win over the Panthers, which helped raise his season grade to 67.3. This is the second highest pass block rate among the team's offensive linemen and the highest among rookie tackles. The highest among rookie tackles. And he's only going to get better. Only going to get better, without question. It's going to be something kind of like the Andrew Thomas kind of thing. He's going to take his lumps, okay? But you can tell the freaking dude is serious, okay? The dude is a professional. The man wants nothing but the best for him and his team. And he's going, whatever he's got to do, he's going to get it figured out. I'm saying he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Not going to say he's going to be an All-Pro or nothing, but he's going to get better, okay? Barring injuries and all that and everything. So give the man some time. Give him maybe this season. He'll get better. Okay. Second season, he should get better. All right. And as long as you guys can stay healthy, we got ourselves 2 good bookends, for quite some time. Okay. And then we got the Cowboys here, the run game. Despite gaining just 178 yards on the ground this season, the rushing attack of Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard cannot be overlooked. Look, Elliott's averaging 4.2 yards per carry and Pollard's 4.8. In last week's win over Cincinnati, both backs have shown the ability to break out a huge run throughout their careers. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Zeke up the middle and Pollard around the edge, Pollard catching the ball. Oh, yeah, very, very dynamic. It's just that their offensive line is certainly taking a step backwards. Okay, so their offensive line's taking a step backwards. They got a backup quarterback in there. Okay, so, all right. Let's see. With Prescott out in week 2, the Cowboys relied on the run game more so than in the season opener. Right after registering 16 rushes between Elliott and Pollard in week 1, that number jumped to 24 in week 2. Expect Dallas to lean heavily on their run backs on Monday night. Yeah, so the Giants are going to, the one thing, okay, is that with Leo the Lion out, right? Giants are going to have to be careful. You know what I mean? Because he helps clog up the middle, all right? So, which frees up the linebacker, the middle linebackers, or maybe to bring a safety in the box or something, to make a tackle. So Azeez and Kayvon are going to need to set those edges, all right, in there, funnel everything inside, and have to try to do a decent job at slowing down the run, right? But expect the Cowboys to try to help Cooper as much as they possibly can, without question, right? Rush was 19 of 31 for 235 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, which was huge. Good for a passer rating of 95.5. The quarterback, who had a brief stint with the Giants practice squad in 2020, has impressed Martindale in his limited action. Oh, yeah. Well, let's say the Cowboys enter this matchup with a talented group of offensive playmakers. Despite being off to a slow start, wide receiver ABCD Lamb caught 79 balls last year, right? Amari Cooper is now with the Browns, but it appears the Dallas will be getting, Gallup back. All right. They also got Wilson. Okay. And, Schultz. Okay. And Pollard out of the backfield. All right. And they're going to try to, as I said, help Cooper Rush as much as they humanly possibly can, trying to get the running game going, giving them quick passes, right? Maybe not standing in the pocket too long. Not, having them throw the ball, maybe, not in harm's way a lot. Okay. So they're going to have to help Cooper Rush out a lot, probably quite a bit, as much as, maybe more so. But the Giants are also going to have to help Daniel Jones out throwing the ball as well, too, without question. I mean, they have to try to get the ball out of his hands fast. Can't have him standing in the pocket for too long, because I can't remember how many times, we've seen, guys running free or offensive linemen being bull rushed and landing at Daniel Jones's feet as he's trying to throw the ball and all. So, it's going to be tough. It's going to be, should be a close game. I'm not going to say it might be wildly entertaining, but I can't see it being, a real offensive explosion. The only way there's going to be a lot of points scored, I believe, it would be if there was quite a few turnovers, pick six, a couple fumbles, right? Some bunch of turnovers and all, really sloppy play. Then I could see a bunch of points being scored. But other than that, I see maybe 24-20 Giants winning. I'll put the big blue, I'll put them in there. And said it, within one score either way. And I said, the way the Cowboys play a lot of times in Giant Stadium, wouldn't surprise me at all if the Cowboys won as well, too. But I'll pick the Giants. I'll pick the Giants 24-20. I think it'll be a close game, and I think the Giants do wind up prevailing. But, they have to – if the Cowboys win, the Giants have to make sure the Cowboys beat the Giants. The Giants can't beat themselves, okay? And, and this could be one of those games where the Giants, if they do beat themselves, they lose at home to a backup quarterback. They look back at the end of the season, right? And it's like, man, we lost to the Cowboys by 3 points. We had two interceptions. Daniel Jones got sacked 5 times. He fumbled it twice. The Cowboys got both of those. That led directly to 10 points. Man, if we just didn't give up those 10 points, we'd have another win. If we had one more win, we'd be in the playoff. This certainly could be one of those things. So the Giants, if the Giants win, I don't think it'll be that easy, but I think they'll win. But if the Cowboys win, the New York Giants have to make sure that the Cowboys beat the Giants. The Giants can't beat themselves. But that's been 34 minutes. Just shoot my mouth off once again. Anybody at all, from the bottom of my heart, you guys absolutely freaking rock. Anybody at all spend any time watching this, thank you so much. Or anybody who watches the replay of this, once again, from the bottom of my heart, guys, thank you so much. You guys absolutely freaking rock. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.